Welcome to Charts Today. My name's David Linton, and this week's edition for today's edition. Welcome to Charts Today. My name's David Linton, and today's edition for Monday, the 7th of November, comes to you from London. We start by looking at the dollar index. Dollar had a pretty bad week last week with all the election jitters. Seeing a little bit of recovery this morning. On the election tomorrow, a lot of news flow, obviously, and this is having just a big impact. Short-term recovery, though, looks like it's underway here. We're just about to come through the cloud. Remember, this is my long-term, medium-term, and short-term view. This is the 60-minute chart. So at the moment, it looks like we're in for a better week for the dollar. If you look at the euro, of course, that means the reverse. We're seeing the euro just coming through the cloud the other way, and so we're seeing that euro weakness playing through. Not quite, looks like it's trying to make a transition here, but not through on the cloud. So this is resistance at the moment in the long term, medium term below the cloud, and short term looking like it's turning more bearish again. Japanese yen, of course, a very good proxy for the risk trade. We see here the dollar has crossed. This is a good lead indicator on the dollar. So the dollar has crossed. Dollar buys more yen. We're back into short-term bullish there. We're seeing that on all charts here. So the long-term picture is the yen strength, but at the short and medium-term end, dollar gaining strength there. If we look at sterling, sterling pulling back again this morning as well. Still above the cloud here, so still in a bull trend here. So got more work to do for sterling to turn bearish, but down 0.7%. Sterling had a good week last week, the first time in quite a long time it had a good week, but it looks like it's pulling back now. And if we look at sterling euro, the rate's fairly flat here, both currencies falling this morning, so that's quite key. Sterling Swiss flattening there as well, and the Australian dollar, we're seeing the pullback there in sterling as well. So sterling showing some weakness, dollar showing some strength this morning. If we look at the S&P 500, very bad week for the markets last week. Cloud just really holding below the cloud here on the daily. I like to see three closes on the lagging line to be below the cloud. So we've had a pretty a big run of 8 consecutive bearish days. So you'd have to think that we might be overdone now. We might see a bit of recovery. Short-term chart, of course, is still bearish. There's nothing in these charts in the short term to indicate a recovery. So we just need to see how the week develops. Again, with the Nasdaq, much the same picture. Market's looking pretty bearish, but last week we were saying that bearishness was there short term. We don't have much in the way of new downside targets on the short term now. Russell also looking bearish. The futures are up 1.5% this morning in London, so I think that's an indication we will see a bit of a relief rally. FBI news possibly having an impact, but we will see the short-term charts are still a bit bearish, but we're up quite significantly. Taking a look at the FTSE, again a pretty bearish week for FTSE, but we've hit the targets. There's no new downside targets, so a reversal seems fairly likely as well. Same on the FTSE 250, which looks a little bit more bearish. The DAX, again, all bearish, but we don't have any new thrust downside targets. Nikkei up 1.6% in Asia overnight, so that's giving you an indication markets are recovering. Hang Seng up 0.5%. Still quite a lot of downside targets here. Indian market is again up 0.75%, but no real signs of any new short-term upside targets. We have to wait for those to develop. And the same for the Australian market, has been pretty bearish of late. Bit of a recovery in Australia this morning. Brent up 1.5%, again seeing a relief rally there, 46.35 at the moment, so still fairly bearish there. So we're seeing that we are bearish in the short term, but quite a strong recovery in play this morning. And same with WTI. No clear signs in any of these charts of new upside targets. We have to wait for those thrusts to develop. US Nat Gas 284, really bouncing along the cloud here on the lagging line. So looks like this long-term transition is still in train, but the short term is still a bit bearish. Coffee has been one of late, and again we're seeing that here. Chart up quite significantly here. Short-term bearish, bullish. So, and a lot of upside targets to play for. So coffee is one of the best-looking softs at the moment. If we look at cocoa, on the other hand, falling away quite strongly here. So not all things rising. Gold pulling back 1% this morning. So we're seeing the risk off trade is off now with news flow out of the US. So we are seeing gold coming back into this bearish territory, having lived here for long. But no new downside targets, quite a few upside targets. So at the moment, quite a hard call. And if we look at silver, just wandering into the cloud here, bearish, and we do have a new downside target for 2%. Again, down just over 1%. Copper up 1.5%, quite bullish here, really running on the charts. No short-term targets, but an upside target of 8% on the medium-term chart. Taking a look at the US bond yield, 1.82 this morning. That's up quite significantly. So again, news flow helping there. So we're seeing bond yields big jump there, and we don't have any real clear upside targets in the short term. But this 213, 217, 18 looks inevitable. Last week, US tech stocks had a pretty rough week. Apple looking pretty bearish below the cloud. Google also below the cloud. Amazon much the same as well. And then Facebook had a pretty bad week off results. New upside target would need a move above 122 to activate that. But at the moment, holding the medium-term trend. That's the key. But you can see here on this chart, pretty bad week for Facebook. That's it for today. Until tomorrow, happy charting. See you then.